Hello and welcome everyone to the Premier League review show. It is me, Kev, and Connor bringing it to you. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. Football results were absolutely mental. Obviously, we're going to be covering obviously 5 very important games. Anyway, there's currently a game going on. Kev is currently watching it. The Manchester United game. Anyway, it's still 1-0 to United. Kev.
Yeah, United on the attack here.
Yeah, obviously a big result for them, potentially on the horizon for their obviously top 4 hopes this season. And Connor, me and you watched quite laughably, really, in terms of yesterday's results. There was a couple of cracking results which we'll be speaking about today, won't there?
Yeah, obviously a few bottle jobs. We won't name any clubs as to.
We've had the biggest bottle jobs us this season, mate.
Yeah. Look. We're not talking about Liverpool in this show. They haven't ruined our weekends this weekend.
Not yet.
Monday doesn't count as a weekend, surely.
Yeah.
But no. Look, obviously, to be fair though, I'd say the majority of the games this weekend have been entertaining. I think more than anything else, and again, just proving why the Premier League is the best league in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Keep on getting your comments in as we go through today's episode, everyone. If you haven't already done so, if you are watching on the repeat, make sure you smash that like button down below. Make sure to head over, subscribe to the lads' channels as well. The Kit Men, which me and Kev obviously will be doing a lot more content on. That'll be a lot more Premier League based and a lot more bit of everything, really. So please do head over, drop a subscribe on there as well. If one of the mods can drop us the link in the comments, be much appreciated. But firstly, we'll get straight into it. Obviously, we're going to probably give 5 to 10 minutes on each game anyway. And obviously at the back of the show. And I did ask the lads before they come on, if you could pick 3 midfielders, and Liverpool had a valuation of £100 million to spend in the summer. And I pose this question to you as well, chat. Who would you in reasonable terms and the budget wise, if it was 100 million, what 3 midfielders would you realistically bring in to the football club? And obviously that'll be at the back end of the show. We'll have a little gap about that as well. But Kev, we'll get straight into obviously the first game of the weekend.
2-0.
2-0 United, is it?
Yeah.
So it's a game set and match really for them. But a big game, early kickoffs. Newcastle fans off the back of this result, speaking to a lot of my Geordie mates as well, engaging from obviously social media reaction. Disappointing. For me, there's a massive overreaction in terms to Newcastle losing a game of football, because for me, they sound top 4. I think they will get top 4 in all honesty, given how well they've played. I think it's only their 4th defeat of the season, and that just goes to show really how good Newcastle have played. But for you, Kev, just your general thoughts on that game, mate?
Well, I wouldn't say that their top 4 is solidified. I think a club like United probably has it more solidified than they would, and they've had like the off days. I think Newcastle are coming into bad form at the wrong time of the season. For me, I think that they surely I knew that they were going to run out of steam eventually. I'm not saying that they're going to run out of steam. They could just nick it, but I don't think it'll be as nailed on as people say. I think we'll be in the fray in there. I think Brighton will have something to say about it, and I also think Aston Villa will have something to say about it for that 4th spot. But they were just Newcastle
playing at the races.
Aston Villa did to Newcastle yesterday. What Newcastle have been doing to other teams this season, which is closing down well, attacking, building from the midfield, controlling the game, being solid in defence. But outside that, they weren't at the races, but it's been a couple of games now in the last few weeks that's kind of caught them a little bit. So, I mean, when it came to the stage, it was only Liverpool were after beating them. And now you're talking about 4 losses, and now and there's still more games to happen, and they look tired. Yes, they look really tired yesterday, and as much as people say they don't like an early kickoff, that bodes well for teams that are playing in Europe and stuff. So that bodes for it's about people pretty much teams that play in Europe that play on a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday. So I can't understand why early kickoffs would have anything to do with teams that are not in Europe or involved in Europe or something like that. It affects Liverpool's, United's, affects Man City's, it affects Arsenal's, and these kind of teams.
Yeah, you're spot on. It kind of, as Kev's alluded to, for me and Charles, let us know your thoughts on obviously this game. We'll speak about Aston Villa and the great results from their lads anyway, but keeping it on Newcastle, you look at Gordon down that left-hand flank. I just don't understand why they signed him. I get they wanted competition for Alan Saint-Maximin in terms of his inconsistent performances since he's been at Newcastle. He's great one week, Alan Saint-Maximin, but on another week he can be playing like Matty Jarvis from Prime Wolverhampton Wanderers one weekend. So it's a very weird, well, not just obviously Gordon, but in terms of Newcastle, mate, were you surprised that, given how well they have been this year, mate, by that performance, or was that performance on the wall for you?
No, I think the biggest part of this season with Newcastle has been when will their dip in form happen. And I think obviously with the team, there was probably at the start of the season going, look, we might challenge for Europe, but realistically the goal is stay in the league no matter what. But of course Newcastle's done phenomenal this season. But I think with certain individuals, like you said, like Saint-Maximin for me is a real frustrating player to watch because he can be absolutely amazing one week, like he was against Manchester United, for example, against the top four, and then other times, and even yesterday, if he was in that type of scenario, he has like one phenomenal game, has three okay-ish or badish games, which is very frustrating.
For me, just Gordon's just not good enough. Listening to all my Newcastle mates, they're absolutely fuming at him. Like, obviously, with the reaction in which he did have last week, and obviously that was very much nipped in the bud, in all honesty, from Eddie Howe. He's managed that situation really well. But it's when push comes to shove, the back end of this season, we've seen Leicester capitulate in recent seasons in terms of being in the top four. I don't think Newcastle will do that. And for me, but what I've sensed from all my mates, and obviously all my Newcastle mates that I have in terms of social media, it seems that it will be a test of time in terms of the next fixture con, how they react. Because you can either react in a positive way, or it could be another result like, i.e. Aston Villa. And then that's where they start getting in their own heads, these players, and start doubting themselves.
Yeah. But it is all psychological, isn't it? I think you've seen on a high level, especially in the Premier League over the last couple of seasons, and even this season when you look at the title fight. But this is the first time Newcastle have been in this situation, and especially Eddie Howe as well. Like, don't get me wrong, Eddie Howe's been in a promotion chase, of course, in the Championship and League One, but he's never been in a Champions League chasing campaign when you've got the likes of Manchester United around him, Liverpool there or thereabouts. Then you've got other teams like Brighton, Tottenham still there as well. And then, it's like you said, if there is just a little slip up, you've got teams breathing down your neck. And for Newcastle, it might be that thought process of, we might fail to get Champions League, even though everyone has probably expected Newcastle to get European football in itself. But I think Champions League football, I think they've been pretty much favourites for that for a while now. So I think there's that expectation of failure, maybe, and just being new to the situation. But again, that comes down to how Eddie Howe can sort that out realistically with the squad, because again, it might be a lack of players in that position, but still, when you talk about the main players for them, of course, Bruno Guimaraes, I think obviously he'll be up for it. You look at Isaac as well; he's been in that scenario as well, where obviously I think Sociedad have got European football before, and so on. But it just goes to show that even if you have one or two bad games, you have other teams going up behind you. I don't think Newcastle are going to miss out on top four. I think they will get Champions League in the end, but it's so very easy to lose, the one game, then the next game, and then you're on a bad spiral. Then, as Kev said earlier on, in terms of the a bad time in the league.
Yeah, definitely. Keep on getting your comments in. We'll wrap through all these as well. General thoughts on Newcastle, Aston Villa. We're going to delve onto obviously the Villa performance. Great. It was probably one of my I'd say my favourite game of the weekend. Obviously, Connor was spot on. And what Connor said can very much be alluded to with Arsenal when we speak about the Gunners later in terms of the expectation levels. But we'll get to everyone's comments as well. Yes, Spade, sadly, 2-0. Obviously, Kev's watching in the background. Keep us updated. Pick up there, Tom, Izzy. Hope you're well, mate. We'll land in London when Liverpool play West Ham next week. And I'm worried on my transport journey rather than the match results. Well, look after yourself, mate. Make sure everything is sorted. And as I said, mate, if you're there, you're very welcome to jump on a show as always, matey. But yeah, let me know how the travelling goes, mate. But yeah, no problem at all. Big up there, Tracy. Hey guys, hope everyone is keeping well. Same to you, Tracy. Massive thank you for tuning in as well. Newcastle will get some type of Europe. They will be happy with Champions League. It will be a huge bonus. Yeah, Eamon's chat. What's your overall consensus? I think the majority. Quick fire, Kev, getting top four.
Yeah.
For me, there's no way to bottle
I'm not going to say yes yet because of the amount of games that are left and because we can see the same sort of vulnerability creeping in Arsenal that we can see in Newcastle. It's that's what's going to cost Arsenal the title is their self-doubt rather than belief, because I mean you can go on and play a fantastic season for most of a season and then just not play well for the last 8 to 9, 10 games. So for me it's
Kev turns into a Smith. Is it me or have I gone blind?
No,
I hope it's not me.
Yeah, I might have to turn on and off the camera, but you can still hear me anyway. Give me a second.
Right, carry on. Sorry,
but So but look, for me it's the same complacencies that Arsenal have that Arsenal have kind of alluded to the last couple of weeks or gotten themselves involved in. I can't see where Newcastle just walk away with the rest of the season without being touched. And without thinking that there's like, I know there's a gap there at the moment, and United might as well hold that gap. I mean, they're about to go 3 points clear of them now, into third. But then, are Spurs going to do? You have to ask what's going to happen with the teams around them. Are Spurs going to do the job? In there, I don't think so. Are Chelsea going to do the job? I don't think so.
What are we speaking about then?
Okay, I'm kind of going what I can see for the top four at the moment, just not the game individually. But then I have to look at, since we're on Aston Villa, if we go tandem with Aston Villa for result the whole way through the rest of the season, we have better goal difference than them. We have a game less played than them at the moment, but we go tandem with them, and they do all the damage to the teams that are above us, which is including your United, your like they've done it to Newcastle. They still have to play Spurs, and that. So if they do that, then we're talking okay. You're coming into the last 4 games of the season we still have to play Villa, but there's all of a sudden we're within 3 to 4 points of that 4th spot, and that's what I want to be with, like 4 games to go. Absolutely no problem, because then it's the tough games that they have that I'd be worried about, because we probably have Spurs. And then you're looking at Southampton and Villa's in there and Spurs in there, but it's not too for the home games. It's a lot easier for us than what the away games are. So I'm hoping that we can be in that. But I'm just talking about us from a point of view, whether it's us or whether it's Brighton have the power in that position. So if Brighton keep winning their games, they can take over that 4th spot, no problem. So look, it's all down to how results go our way, and play in tandem with Aston Villa. Just get result with Aston Villa. Yeah.
I think that's still so much I want to speak about anyway. Obviously, limited time. Con, Unai Emery. I was speaking to chat last night, and he's massively disrespected in terms of Premier League fans. He is a living meme, but that's not taken away from what an astounding manager this fella is. Since he's taken over from obviously that very depleted Steven Gerrard team, just goes to show how much work Stevie has still got to do in his young management career anyway. Given his great European record, Unai Emery, but I tell you what, he's got Ollie Watkins, obviously, since he's come back from the World Cup, I think he's there. I think he might be joint level with the most amount of goals scored since the World Cup. It's an astounding record. But Unai Emery, I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, as you said it rightfully so, I think very underrated. I think last season got to a Champions League semi-final, Villarreal. I think when you look at that Villarreal side in the league, it wasn't performing that well. I think it was around. I think they finished 13th. I think in the end last season. But ever since he's come in, I think only Man City now have got more wins than Aston Villa, which again is absolutely unbelievable. And like you said, mate, he's got the key players on fire. Ollie Watkins, I think it's 14 goal contributions since the World Cup. I think that's more than Erling Haaland as well. So again, it's been absolutely brilliant. I think me and you were speaking yesterday, and Buendia, that looked like a flop last season.
Yeah. Yesterday,
in that game yesterday,
he's got a new lease of life. In all honesty, mate, I think certain other managers at the club have not really got the best out of him. But speaking about yesterday's performance, mate, I think he was absolutely exceptional in that number 10 position. Especially if you can get him fully fit and fully fired. And I think he's probably got one of the best partnerships in the Premier League if he can continue playing like that, Con. Yeah. Watkins and Buendia, but obviously Jacob Ramsey getting a goal. Another one on a potential list of potentially joining Liverpool in the long term. And for me, he's a player that I think Liverpool should be keeping an eye on, really, mate. But
you got a super chat there, Jack.
Oh yeah, big up there, Henry. Yeah, we'll get to that as well in a little second. Massive thank you, Henry. But yeah, just quickly, it's Ollie Watkins. If you can keep him fit, can he get them European football? Do you
reckon? Possibly. Again, I'm just gonna quickly, I think like Villa's games. I think that's the thing now. I think all of the top, from probably 4th to probably 7th, I think play each other. I think in a couple of weeks, I know there's a few tough games for a few clubs. I don't think so. Maybe they might get a Conference League spot potentially. I think that might be it. But I think next season, if you can get the players in and get the correct pre-season, Villa, have gone from a mid-table team to looking threatening in the league again. So it's again, that's the entirety of the league, though. It's not only Villa; it's all the leagues getting better. It's all getting close.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, mate. And I'm looking at a name there and was very impressed yesterday. I've seen a lot of the lads since he's come to Villa, but Moreno, flashbacks to a certain, obviously, Alberto Moreno for us. But I tell you what, he's a much better player. He was constantly down that left-hand flank against Newcastle anyway, chat. We're going to obviously roll into the next Premier League game as well, though, chat. But let us know your thoughts. Do you anticipate Villa potentially getting European competition? But if, as the form guide does suggest and what Connor's alluded to, if they keep that up, I think they'll be certainly in contention come the back end of this season because they are a team to watch and it's going to be absolutely madness. But big up there, Gary, Talio. Oh, big up there, Henry as well. Love your channel, Jack. A massive thank you. Love you all. You're absolute legends. But really do appreciate the support as always. Gerrard to Emery is one of the biggest manager upgrades in the last 20 years. Spot on there, Bri. You do wonder how Stevie actually did get that job at the football club. That's another debate for another night anyway. But it goes to show that him and Lampard, yes, Gerrard's won a title in Scotland, but managers, Kev, are getting
Alex McLeish is another prime example of why he won a championship in Scotland. Brendan Rodgers won a championship in Scotland. Neil Lennon won a championship in Scotland. They don't come down and do it in the other leagues. They're good for mid-table clubs, but that's about it. Aston Villa are a bit higher on my eyes than a mid-table club.
Oh yeah,
they're
won a couple of European cups as well.
Yeah. So I know they haven't been the greatest. They've been relegated in recent years and back up and thereabouts. But I mean, that's kind of where Aston Villa's frame is at the moment, between 6th and 8th. that kind of way. That's the kind of position that they're in. But I'm just looking at the league table as we speak here, and just some of the goal differences between the top two and just even everybody else. I mean, Newcastle's got a fantastic goal difference here sitting in there at the moment, and Villa's only on +4 with United on +9 and Spurs on +12. You know, wondering how are they even anywhere near the top? You know, and Brighton sitting there on +17 and we're sitting there on +15. You know, it's nuts. So yeah, Aston Villa, Emery's doing unbelievably well with to have Aston Villa in the position that they're in. Like I said, go in tandem with them, and we're good going as well to be annoying the top 4 for the end of the season.
Tell you what, next year, Jesus, if a lot more teams actually do get their house in order, it's not just going to be difficult for all of us, just for us. Yeah. It's going to be difficult for the majority of the Premier League, and everyone keeps on saying it around the world. It is, and it's true. The Premier League is the Super League. You need, in the given over 20 years, you'll literally need to have a billionaire owner if you stand any chance of winning any competitions, any league titles. But swiftly moving on, we have to quickly, obviously, we've gone 10 minutes over on that anyway, but that was probably true to my fault anyway, rambling. But obviously, Connor, Brighton, Chelsea chat as well. A massive result off the back of Brighton narrowly missing out and wrongfully missing out against Tottenham last week. They were absolutely done in. Fraudulent behaviour anyway, but a big result. Chelsea Football Club, they robbed the manager, they rob all the best players, but yet again, you can spend all that money, Bowley, you won't be a better footballing side than this Brighton side.
Is it possible for a caretaker manager to get sacked? Maybe. I think I was saying earlier on off camera, like I think Frank Lampard now is 20 games without a win in the Premier League as a manager, which again, I think if that's true, then that's ridiculous. But yeah, Brighton, again, it says 2-1. I think if you watch the game, I think quite honestly, it was, men against boys, realistically. I think Moises Caicedo, obviously, I think we'll quite clearly speak about him on other shows and maybe on this one, but he completely destroyed Chelsea yesterday, absolutely run the park. Again, we talk about Enzo Fernandez being worth £100+ million.
Not too bad at football, is he?
No, and Caicedo made Fernandez look outclassed him. I think that's the easiest word to use for it. But again, I think Pep Guardiola said it perfectly in his press conference. Brighton at the moment are playing the best football in the Premier League. And you look at the players and look at the bargains that they've got, then, Brighton will be successful and will get Europe this season. It's just a question of what European football do they get? Do they get Europa League or Champions League? And I think either way, I think Brighton are, again, they're an excellent team to watch, and probably a bit jealous of them as well of them this season. But again, Caicedo absolutely battered and destroyed Chelsea yesterday, and it was nice to see it as well.
Yeah, Kev, I'm not surprised at all now. No more. And chat, let us know your thoughts on this game. Like I alluded to, Liverpool, as we know, need to be signing whoever Brighton are looking at currently. But it's no surprise. Every single time I went to watch Liverpool versus Brighton over the last couple of years at home, when I've been, them and Brentford, when they've both come into the Premier League, have played. It's not a fluke that they've just been playing this well under De Zerbi. It's every single manager that's come in. They've tweaked it ever so slightly, but the footballers, even the football under Graham Potter, was superb. Football under De Zerbi as well now, excellent. But it's what do you put that down to? Is it just cleverness in all departments from Brighton, from every level of the club?
I just think Brighton's a happy place to live. To be honest with you, I think, I never heard, when I talk to anybody from Brighton or anybody I know from Brighton or anybody who lives in Brighton right now, they're always happy. They're a place that, no matter what happens, there's not a care in the world to them. So I think it just filters into the stadium. The fans are never on their back. They're always behind them, no matter what happens. So, it's a hard place to go to. We found that out, that they've improved and improved and improved year on year. And even with regards to Chelsea, do you know Chelsea they've won 7 in their last 28 games? So, and that's over a period of like losing for like 3 games in a row or drawing and then only winning one. And there was one, I think it was against Dortmund, was that one, and Crystal Palace, and then a very poor Leicester side. And it's been really poor.
Slap the backside there, Kev. Look at those statistics. Imagine, like, regardless of whoever's in charge, Todd Bowley's in it. We all know, like, Kev, he's going to spend another 300 million and trying to fix this. For me, it's another case of owners and the structure of a Premier League club gone absolutely mental. Because there was a rumour after the game, was it Connor or something, or chat? He was in the dressing room and for an hour after the game. The owner should be there to write the checks, and that's it. Not dictating in terms of the changing room. I know, obviously, everyone will go, Abramovich had quite a massive say in terms of Chelsea, the Terry and the Lampard and Drogba era. Yes, but this is madness, in my honest opinion, mates. And this goes to show just how much of a mess Chelsea currently are in every department.
Like I was looking at there. That's what I was doing when you lads were talking to me. I was looking at the stats. I was looking at and a couple of, like, even those wins, there was only a couple of them that were draws out of, you know. So, I don't know what they're going to do, Chelsea. To be honest with you, they're in a place that I think that I don't think that club has ever felt more plastic. To be honest with you, and I'm on about, like, as far as it goes, it's more like a merchandising place. It's like just an entity instead of a football club right now.
Basically, what Tottenham are currently, and we'll speak about Tottenham, like an NFL stadium. This doesn't really see any soul, really, like with the club.
No, I still class Spurs as more of a team than what's going on in Chelsea at the moment, because they have superstars left, right, and centre inside the team, but yet all individuals and no team cohesion. Whereas Spurs, at least. No, Spurs are just guilty of just it must be one of the most depressing places on earth to play football, to be honest with you, whatever's going on there. It just even when they get a lift, they're still complaining about themselves, you know.
Yeah, we'll get on to Tottenham there, mate. But just look at the statistics, chat. This is, if you didn't watch the highlights, go and watch them, because they absolutely wiped the floor with Chelsea. Obviously, Enciso, hopefully I pronounced that right. Literally scored goal of the season for me. If you haven't seen it, I'd show it here, but obviously due to copyright, not allowed. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And when we do delve into obviously where Brighton do find ourselves, it's us and Brighton on the same amount of points. Obviously, I wish we were on the same amount of points, but Brighton on 49, same amount of games. But you look obviously with Brighton, 5 points ahead of Liverpool, and it's madness. And we'll do a couple of Premier League shows till now at the end of the season. But
what's their running, Jack?
We
click on them.
Yeah, I'll click on them now anyway in terms of fixtures. So obviously with Brighton, they got the big game in the semi-final on the horizon. Obviously the City, still got to play, and this is where potentially Manchester City, that's probably their hardest fixture left. In all honesty, obviously they got Arsenal, City, but that's not going to be easy away from home for City. Obviously, and then you got Forest. Anticipate them winning against Forest. Win there. Win at home against United. Win.
They're tough games.
Oh, Arsenal still.
Brighton have a horrible running. They've Aston Villa left. Southampton fighting for their lives.
Brighton could determine the top 4 and who wins the Premier League.
Yeah. Right. And even the relegation as well. But yeah, chat, let us know your thoughts on obviously that game. It's as Kev alluded to, Everton seems to be happy, go lucky. Not lucky, bloody hell, but everything's going well, and long may it continue. I wish it never wouldn't, but as I said, Everton in terms bodes well for Brighton, for the management. And I'll be even kicking off the cheek of Chelsea, potentially looking at De Zerbi as well. Don't you even dare. And I'm not even a bloody Brighton fan. Like, I'd honestly hope De Zerbi just tell them to go and swivel.
I don't think he would. He's in a better club at the moment. Doesn't matter if the money's not there. The money will come with Brighton for what he needs, but he doesn't need to be there. But I mean, Brighton fans, they know that they're way punching above their weight the last 5 or 6 years from where they were. And they're happy, and know it's going to become a point where they're established. And will we see Brighton fans complain? Because I haven't seen them complain yet. So once they start complaining, they know that they're established, So I think that's what's going to happen.
It's mad their journey as well, though, Kevin, Colin, and Chat. Obviously, you look at them and Bournemouth, obviously, over the last couple of years, well, since they've come into the Prem, but Kev's hit the nail on the head in terms of when if they continue recruiting the way they have in recent seasons, under Potter, under De Zerbi as well, they will become an established 7th to 10th team, similar to what Villa we used to do under Martin O'Neill. Just couldn't quite break into there. Obviously, Everton under David Moyes, you could say they at that period, they were quite stable. But I tell you what, Brighton, if they can keep hold of a couple of players, and even if they say don't just leave the football club or a McAllister, they are getting top dollar, and it's all about they'll probably spend 120 million, whoever buys these players, on the next 10 to 20 players further down the line. They'll probably buy 5 Saicedos and 5 McAllisters for the price of 120
And a lot of this
million.
has to go down to Chris Hughton as well, Jackie. I mean, he built a stable format there at Brighton as well. And these managers are after benefiting from it afterwards. So I thought it was kind of harsh on them to be let go in 2019 at the time. But no, I think, look, they've got a stable background there now. Kind of reminds me of Southampton. A few years back when they were really stable, had good players coming through. They were getting pinched left, right, and centre, but replacing them with better players as well. So, but I think they're a bit more. I think they're a bit more stable now than what Southampton were then, because not only have they got quality players, but they're battling for the top European spots as well. So yeah, that's what you kind of want to do.
Southampton are a very weird team, aren't they?
Yeah, yo club, really.
They had, at the time, over the last 10 years, they had one of the best academies known to man, especially in the Premier League. They produced so many legendary Premier League players, but it's just now it's obviously the changing of management hasn't helped, but I do fear that if Southampton do go down, I don't think they come back up straight away. Not like if Everton went down, or the West Ham. West Ham have got history in terms of the Championship. Sean Dyche, if he did go down with Everton, he'd come straight back up anyway.
Money's there from. Yeah, there's no money there at Southampton at the moment, I don't think, and that's what they're struggling with.
There's no there's no idea there though either. No, but it's like Southampton used to have the brilliant minds behind it, where if they did sell someone, you'd have somebody else come in and like Brighton. But over the last 2-3 seasons, that hasn't happened. They've stayed being that selling club, but then they haven't replaced the quality from it, because I think they signed. I can't remember the guy, the Czech Republic guy that they signed in January, and Southampton fans were like, "Why didn't we sign him in the summer?" And it's like, and I think that's been a big thing from Southampton fans. Of obviously, there's been a lot of uproar from the management side of things, where they obviously was it Neil Jones.
They've had the weirdest manager known to Premier League history. Like, he was a very strange character, wasn't he?
When he criticised the club for hiring him or something like that.
It was when he was speaking in like the third person, when he was referring to like them. I was like, "It's just a club, mate. Just say we." Like, if we're in any job or like your mates, it's you're speaking yourself personally. You speak about as a team, collective. But he was saying them and those players like they weren't his players. And I can understand, he's spot on there, but
Southampton are better as well when they didn't buy so many players, and they developed some and then added 1 or 2 to the ranks. They were always better at doing that, and taking on a few players on loan and then making them full timers there. I mean, Broha was good for them when he was there with them, and then he came back to Chelsea and did nothing really, did he?
Yeah, that double pivot of Wanyama and Schneiderlin. Oh, I remember that. And Fonte and Dejan Lovren. Bloody hell. Those were the days. And, but going from the mess that is Chelsea, and then we're going to probably one of the horriblest, worst teams in the Premier League from top to bottom. And chat, we'll get to everyone's comments as well before we go into it, but the absolute utter disrespect Tottenham fans have been showing. Sanchez, I get he's not the best centre half. But what you don't do is just single out a player and boo him. There's more deep-rooted issues at Tottenham from the board level. I think the Tottenham fans really need to get a bit of bottle and actually start having a go at the owners. Getting all these NFL games at Tottenham, yeah, and it might bring in a bit of money, but if you're not seeing that reinvested heavily in the infrastructure and in the players, like Harry Kane, he's gone by the end of this year. He has to have surely leave. If he sticks around just to get the Premier League record, then each to their own, Harry Kane, but ridiculous. Brian, he ended up there. I was going to say, would Bale have gone back? But he's bloody retired now anyway. Big up there, Russ. Big up, mate. We'll get to your lads anyway. We've got another two. Obviously, we'll speak about Arsenal in the last game. But very disappointed with your lads today, Russ. Pretty sure I know you will be as well. Today's result has made me stick to the stomach. We bottled it, lads. Russ, well, not as a jump ahead, but us three were watching that game today, and I said to the lads even before West Ham got their second goal, it was when Saka skied that, like it played on it, and obviously literally 60 seconds later, West Ham go up the other end and bloody score. But still a long way to go, especially at Brighton, or hopefully someone can do us a favour, boys. But we're going to be speaking about that bloody machine down there below us. It's ridiculous. It's never easy. Big up there, Doug, as well. So, our ball, the manager here, Tadic. Bloody hell, what a player. Still playing as well. But heard Spurs are signing Beyonce and Lewis Hamilton this summer. Wouldn't surprise me, Nigel. Neil, sorry, mate. It's ridiculous. Connor, ridiculous football club currently, Tottenham Hotspur. I shake my head in disgust, like how broken they currently are. Sacking previous Premier League winners. They've sacked Mourinho, sacked Conte, sacked another load of managers that I can't even remember the names of, but experienced winners. The mentality of the football club absolutely stinks. You don't even know what winning a trophy is. Can you put your finger on one of the, if not many, issues at Tottenham, Con?
The main one, in my honest opinion, Daniel Levy. He, for me, is the one that, and again, it's not the only problem at Tottenham, but it's like you said, they've had back-to-back serial winning managers, and it's been the same problem, same issues, and you look on, if you were to look at Tottenham on the outside and go, they've got the state-of-the-art facilities in training, they've got one of the best stadiums in the Premier League, supposedly they've got money, all this and the other. So what's wrong at Tottenham? You look at that squad and you look at mainly the team that played against against Bournemouth. That team needs replacing. Like, we talk about, as Liverpool, we talk about Liverpool being, too loyal. Harry Kane, son, should have been gone a long time ago. Because let's not forget this, Tottenham, before 2016, 2017, they were a sell-to-buy club, or had that model trying to sell. Obviously, Gareth Bale, the money, they didn't, finance that well back into the team. But
Eric Lamela, go ahead. I know loads of players that they've.
There's only one question you got to ask for: who the hell do you think you are? It's that simple. Who do you think you are that you can fire Mourinho, Pochettino, Conte? A few years ago you had Harry Redknapp and Glenn Hoddle as your managers, and you're turning around and Tim Sherwood, and then you're getting the best managers in the world because you got a good team there. And all of a sudden,
Ramos as well, though, Kev.
Ramos,
remember? He's an ex-Real Madrid manager as well. So they've had the managers. It's like that saying, the gear, but no idea. And that's Tottenham. You've got all the expensive stadiums, the expensive training grounds. You've got some of, if not the best players in the Premier League. But you just don't know what it means to actually win a trophy.
It's Daniel Levy's lack of respect for his peers around him, and he acts like a football man and all that. But it's expectations that are above his pay grade. To be honest with you,
he gets a pass weirdly, Kev. Why do you think he's getting away with murder? Like
stadium, buying players left, right, and centre, spending money, and then just not allowing the managers to become managers. Really, he has complete control. Do you know what it is? You can compare him to what Bowley is doing at Chelsea right now, and he has his feet and his hands in everything when he should just spend the check or spend the money and step out of the way and just let the managers be managers.
Look at what Mourinho came up with a couple of weeks ago about Kim Min-jae, saying that, look, we wanted to buy him from Fenerbahce. Tottenham, we agreed a 10 million fee. Fenerbahce said they wanted 5 million add-ons. And Spurs went, no, we're going to walk away, and expected Fenerbahce to say, oh, yeah, we'll accept the lowest offer. And it's like, if a world-class manager in Jose Mourinho comes out and says, look, that's the guy I want, you should back him to the moon, not go, oh, we want him for this X price. But it's not only that. You've looked at, for example, look at Mourinho. He went to Roma, won the Conference League, and at the moment is doing very well in the Serie A.
Going to get top 4 as well.
Yeah, Pochettino, okay, it didn't work out at PSG, but I think if he went to a club and had a rebuild around him, I think he'd do very well at a certain club.
Nobody's done well at PSG. That's the difference.
No, exactly.
Tottenham, he finished third, Kev. He finished third in a 2-horse race last season. It's the most Spurs thing. We all laugh about it, but it's in the DNA. Like, how can you finish third in a 2-horse race? And as Connor's alluded to there, Kev, Pochettino was, I'd say, 2 or 3 world-class players in terms of bringing him into the football club from winning the Premier League. That's all he needed. Bit similar with Jurgen Klopp at the minute. We're not that far off. We just need probably about 3 world-class midfielders. That actually
he didn't get the players that he wanted to get. I suppose. Remember when the Gareth Bale money and stuff came in, and all of a sudden there was like 109 million for Spurs to spend in without and bought a load of unwanted players of Real Madrid and this just players that just didn't cut the mustard. When they could have poached the Premier League for top quality players. They could have poached the German League for a couple of top quality players for that kind of money. But instead they just went for mediocre, thinking, oh, we're buying them from Real Madrid, we're buying them from this and that. Oh, they're just below the level at Real Madrid, so we'll just bring them in, or they're below the level at this team. But I mean, they're down there for a reason. Like, it's just, I don't understand. They had the opportunity, but instead it's their owners, the things decided who they were buying, and Pochettino didn't really get a say, did he? In saying when all of these and whoever sold Bale and the money that was spent afterwards, they didn't get the chance. No manager gets the opportunity to spend the money that they're given in that club. It's just they're told who they're buying, they're told who's coming in, and then they're told to do what they want. And it's just at least in other clubs, like, I mean, even Klopp admits, look, there's a committee there and they do what they do, and that's it. And then I get a say in what happens. But these managers don't get a say. They're just bought and then they said, here, like, you have this fella now.
It's mad though, mate. And Kev in chat. Obviously, we'll move on. Obviously, the 2 last games as well, but we could probably do another podcast in terms of get all the fuming Tottenham fans joining in. But you do shake your heads, and I will continue because look where they are in the table as well. Like, it seems that they've lost about 20 games this season, but they're currently above Liverpool by how many points is that? Yeah, they're literally 9 points ahead of Liverpool, and it's mad that he sacked Conte, and that's the final point, really. But quickly as well, Bournemouth. I know we've spent too much time on bloody Tottenham, but quickly, and obviously Chat's alluded to, as Doug said there, Gary O'Neill has done a tremendous job at Bournemouth, but obviously a win against us. And speaking to obviously the Up the Cherries podcast, the lads that obviously jumped on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, I've been watching their videos, and it's very inconsistent with Bournemouth recently. But I tell you what, a result against Liverpool, result against Tottenham, massively helps your survival hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're 1 win away.
Yeah, 6 points ahead of Everton. Yeah. That's massive, in all honesty.
I think they're one win away probably from staying up. Considering you've got, I think that obviously you've got from like West Ham down playing each other over the next couple of weeks as well. So, and yeah, to be fair, for a team that everyone expected to get relegated, and most, probably get relegated down in 20th as well. And especially after that game against us at Anfield with the 9-0, I think, quite obviously it would be, that. But yeah, I think one win, 36 points. I think Bournemouth would be safe then. But obviously, I think the bottom half of the table, looking at it now, that's a spicy battle on who's going to get relegated this season.
Also, Everton Bournemouth is the last game of the season.
Oh, go on, Tom Solanke,
I wasn't laughing at anybody in the middle of that. The minute you kind of started talking, I just giggled to myself because I was, oh no, it's Bournemouth Everton last game of the season. So that's nuts. Yeah,
that is going to be bad chat. Did United win, Kev? I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, 2-0. 2-0, yeah.
I was going to say both goals via VAR, but it looks like, hopefully. But yeah, we'll get to chat anyway, and we'll quickly move on to obviously the two last big games of the weekend anyway. But make sure up it's here. There's no expectation above Levy's pay grade. Gap is stealing 11 spot on there, mate. And there's no one really, as the lads alluded to, and you already chat today. There's no one's going to hold them accountable. I think Levy basically wants to become a football manager. He should put him actual self in the dugout at this rate because, bloody hell, you've sacked some of the best managers. And yes, and everyone goes, yes, they play negative football, but they've got a history and a record. Yes, you might talk about Mourinho in terms of recent. Well, he's a winner. He always finds a way to win, as Connor alluded to, with Roma winning their first European trophy, which was an amazing feat in itself. And obviously the work in which he's done at Manchester United, winning the Europa League there, and obviously another cup. So, yeah, we'll move on, obviously, to that next game, Manchester City. But yeah, to a degree there, mate. Villa are looking dangerous and pushing league places. Kane has carried them for chat. Is Kane staying for me? Quick round the table. For me, if I'm Harry Kane and I'm staying anywhere past this season, I'm going to Bayern Munich. If Bayern can't get Osimhen, they should be getting Harry Kane. Kev, is he staying?
I think he should go. Well, it's more likely he'll do ahead. The most, I'm going to say the most Spursy Harry Kane thing. The most Harry Kane Spursy thing and stay. But I think he should go. I think he needs to get into a different team and a different mindset, to be honest with you. He's been carrying Spurs for I don't know how many years now. So, and Son, let's not get that wrong. So the two boys have been carrying for, and I think they're done this season. I think the two of them are gone. I think Spurs have a massive rebuild ahead. And I can't see for the life of me how they are fifth. I just don't understand how they're fifth. So yeah, I don't get how they've just kept there the whole time. So, yeah.
I think it's just us being poo chat, innit?
Yeah.
Was being poo, a bit rubbish. We didn't say something there, Con?
No, for me, I think he signs a new contract. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the Spursy thing. I think I can't see him. The only team I can see him going and joining is Manchester United if they can't afford a striker. But yeah, I just think that it's too little, too late for Harry Kane. He should have moved 2-3 years ago, didn't, and now I think he's stuck at Spurs.
Yeah, United need a striker, don't they? With Weghorst in there and Sabitzer kind of coming in there, and they're only all in loan, aren't they? So
it's mad in another parallel universe, though, Kev. If I'm Harry Kane, I'm kicking myself for the rest of my career. He would have absolutely demolished that Premier League record if he was at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Look, and this teaser's imperfect, but we'll get through everyone's chat. Just look at the chances. We'll speak about the bloody monster that he is in Haaland, drinking all his milk, drinking whatever they eat in Scandinavia. Everyone's about 6'5". Been having a ready back, definitely. But Ben, Leicester have got to go down. They've gotten a lot better going forward, but struggle defensively. Yeah, it's an absolute bloody shambles. We'll speak about them in a minute. Pick up there, Ben. 36 points will be the safety net. You'd hope so, Doug. Palace have a great run in 2. They play no big teams. They're more or less safe, aren't they now, Brian? I'd say. Roy's done a good job, surprisingly. But as I said yesterday's live stream, I think he's died and gone to heaven by the amount of attacking threat he's currently got in that Crystal Palace side. It's not like the days where he used to have Benteke and the boys leading the line. They are different gravy now. I think the big point for Crystal Palace would, if they can get Wilfried Zaha signed down to a contract extension, really. Solanke, yeah. So you want to be? I'll be getting me Solanke PJs on, especially if he sends down the Ev. Sorry, Tom. Getting them printed as well. I'll be wearing them every week. Palace, I'll say for Eddie Roy is a manager. Roy's going to be getting a 10-year contract at this rate. My man's
Alan Pardew's his second.
Yeah, definitely. Newcastle. That's going to be a very defensive game, that, Doug. That's got a draw written all over it, that game, in all honesty, Doug, for me. West Ham, Forest going down. We'll speak about them, potentially. But obviously, how long have we got? Another 8 minutes. Sorry, there, chat. Obviously, I am on live with the lads. But quickly summarise, Kev, obviously, Erling Haaland, record breaker. Ridiculous.
Not yet.
He will be.
I know everybody's going to say
10 goals in the next goal.
He will. He can get 17 goals in the next game. But right now, Salah's still king. And so look, he's been phenomenal for City, haven't he? But I can't, he's a phenomenal player, and I would like to see if he'd done the same thing in a team like Liverpool or a team like United or a team like Spurs or something like that. It's just that, with the state that I can't praise people that go to Manchester City because it's just a completely bought, it's a completely bought penultimate. It's a France. It's everything about it is just fake and plastic and just money behind it, and it's just, at least with the purse strings, Newcastle have just been bought as a club, but by the biggest, richest owners, but they're still under no scrutinous laws with regards, being able to spend that kind of money, which they can't because they're going to have to earn it first to spend it, and that's the difference. But whereas Chelsea and City didn't avail of this, and it just where City are now is just like I was happy from when they beat United at the last game of the season in 2011, was it 2012, to the title, and we were all like, oh yes, we have to do it,
It's when it's got like six league seasons and they've won 5 out of the last 6.
And then
everyone criticises the Bundesliga, but the Premier League currently, apart from the top 2 teams.
Say it again, man. If it wasn't for Liverpool, this would be a Farmers League.
Yeah.
It would be. So, look, I praise. He's been a fantastic striker. Him as an individual, brilliant. He's a veil of everything, and he's a monster in front of goal. He's done very well. We will always say, is it going to be second season syndrome? They used to say that about Salah. Will it happen? And Salah did it season after season. City's Haaland's in that team that can just get replaced whenever it wants with an entire squad. And he can keep doing it.
I just find it mad that Pep keeps on bringing him off, Kev. If I'm Haaland, I'm absolutely. But that's what an elite manager does. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wants him to be hungry. Like it's of course going to wind Haaland up. I'm pretty sure he's had a fair choice words, but Pep's managed Messi. He's managed Haaland. He knows exactly what he's doing. And that's excellent management for me, mates. It's making him even more hungry and more angry. And I think angry Haaland, and those people out there beginning of the season saying Haaland wouldn't do well, are you mad? Like, this fella wouldn't surprise me if he ends up on 42 Premier League goals in a 38 calendar league season. That record probably will never, ever get broken unless, say, a Kylian Mbappe potentially comes to the Premier League, but that's never going to happen. He's going to go to Real Madrid or stay at Paris Saint-Germain. But, ridiculous, mate.
That's another thing you got to praise Haaland for as well. He didn't choose the other leagues around the place. He came to the Premier League, which is the toughest league to come to and score goals. So I give him that. As an individual player and an individual striker, he's been great for the Premier League and the whole lot. I just hate the fact that he's in that plastic club, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd love he played for Liverpool, but saying that we'd actually need to get the ball to Haaland. We'd have Hendo spamming balls into the back post to him.
Keep saying it. Loopy Skewers.
Sorry there, chat. We have Obviously, you've got another 4 minutes. But Connor, I'll let you wax. Well, you know what? We'll probably do another show. But Connor, how much of a bottle job? Summarise in 4 minutes as quick as you possibly can, mate. Disappointing, shocking.
And don't forget, we told Chat to pick that midfield as well at the start.
Yeah,
we'll save that for another.
In 2 seconds.
Oh, go on then.
Bottle jobs. I say that though. But to be fair, Arsenal is still in their hands, but 2 draws that realistically should have been a loss against Liverpool, and at times should have been a loss today against West Ham. But again, it's their own fault, and if they do miss out on the league, then again, everyone goes on about Liverpool and this, that, and the other, and even Newcastle back in the day. Arsenal will be in that list as well. And yeah, I think obviously the fragile Arsenal supporter will be wanting Arteta out. Which is stupid.
The stuff I've heard, on social media, madness. Quickly, Kev, as I said, for me, we all watched that game as neutrals. And chat, let us know. I'll get through all your comments quickly as well. Do you look mentally shot like today?
For
the Saka penalty miss.
Newcastle and Arsenal have nosebleeds right now. And no matter how good they've been throughout the season, no matter how good they look at occasions throughout the games, they're finally understanding the pressure that it requires to be in the positions that they're in. And it took us a good few seasons to build up to that. A lot of people say that this Arsenal side reminds them of a Liverpool side under Klopp early days. It doesn't for me. It reminds me of an overachieving side at the moment that was of Liverpool 2013, 2014, of that ilk. And that's where it's at. And they still have another couple of seasons to start building a strong team around the quality players that they have there and then develop from there. Now they could go on and win the league, but it's at the moment it's looking like they're struggling. They can't when they are caught back, because they can score early, but when they are caught back, they're struggling. They don't know how to answer it. So kind of like Liverpool throughout this season when we went kind of like losing a few games there, just getting mental blocks, not seeing the right passes.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. But chat, as Brian said there, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. I'll try and do this chat. Obviously, we'll try and get the lads on if they're available as well. But yeah, it's good to actually reflect on the Premier League. I'll probably set the show a lot more longer because there's so much to talk about. We could have spoke about Arsenal and West Ham, so apologies, chat. My bloody shocking time. I need to set myself a timer. And when the timer goes, we move on to the next game anyway. But massive thank you, Kev, for jumping on. Obviously, me and Kev will be, well, the Kitmen channel link is in the description. So if you don't mind, one thing you do this weekend, drop us a like and subscribe on the Kitmen. We've got a lot of content to come out on that. Connor, you're live tonight at 9, aren't you, mate?
Yes, speaking about Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah. So make sure you head over to Connor at 9 p.m. GMT UK time as well. And big up there, Doug. A massive thank you, mate, for the super chats. And obviously, shout out to Henry as well. Have a lovely rest of the night, Henry. Always do appreciate the super chats. As always, you're absolute bloody legends. Draws will feel like defeats. We knew the battle this City side, Arsenal, how great they have been. They have been 2 bad results. City to lose now. Madness. There's so much football to do anyway. But big up, everyone. Big up, chat. Big up, Connor and Kev. Massive thank you for joining me this evening. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for the live stream watch along. And come on, the Reds. Please win. Please. Please. All we want is 3 points.